Welcome to FISM special of our podcast that is called
The Butterfly Magic Lounge. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the third episode of the Butterfly Talk. And this is a special about FISM 2025 that happened the past week.
I'm Ondrej. I am the butterfly guy. And
my name is Pavel, and I'm the other butterfly guy.
Welcome. We are the butterfly guys. That could be the other name of this podcast.
Yeah. So this episode will be just about FISM.
I just got back from FISM. When was it? On Sunday night. I think I made it before midnight. So yes, I got back on Sunday. It was like 11:45 when I got home p.m. And what is FISM? FISM is the World Championships of Magic. It happens every 3 years, and it aims to bring many magicians to one place, especially 150, or in this case, I think it was 160, who compete for the titles of World Champion of Magic. In this case, it was about 100 competitors in the stage category and about 60 competitors in the close-up category. There is one Grand Prix in both of these. I mean, in either of these or in...
For both.
Thank you. So you can win one Grand Prix if you are in stage, and you can win one Grand Prix if you are in close-up. But these have little subcategories. In close-up, it's easier. It's card magic, micro magic, and parlor magic. And on stage, it's a little more difficult. There is a little more of them. There is manipulation. There's general magic. There's grand illusion. There is mental magic. There's comedy magic. And did I forget anything? I believe that's about it. Also, this FISM introduced new demonstration categories, which were two. One was street magic. So we had the first title for the world champion in street magic, and also online categories. Online category, where you could submit a video that was 1.5 minutes long or shorter, and there was a special jury that would choose the best one. So I think first for the final, they chose 15, and then out of those 15, 3 were chosen for the first, second, and third prize.
For anyone who's not familiar with the FISM competition, what's the difference between being awarded a first place prize and the Grand Prix? So which one comes with the world champion title?
So in the end, and this was first time in 2006. No, 2000. Wait a minute. I think it was 2006. Yes. When it happened for the first time, that was FISM in Stockholm, when all the first prize winners came back to the stage to perform their winning act in the final Grand Prix Gala show, where the jury came back to watch with fresh eyes all the acts, compare them, and award the Grand Prix. So this is how you win Grand Prix. First, you have to place first in your category, and then you can win the Grand Prix. The same happens with the close-up. So on the stage of the stage competition, even the close-up magicians appear, of course with projection, and they're also judged again, compared, and one close-up Grand Prix is awarded. Now, judging is very special thing at FISM, because it comes with the responsibility of awarding not only a title to these magicians, but one is some kind of a reward, satisfaction, but also a huge marketing tool. And that is one of the reasons why here at FISM, compared to other competitions, not only the magicians are competing against each other, but also against FISM standards. So all of the judges have to be aware of what the FISM standard should be. And that is the reason why in some categories, some awards are not awarded, because there are rules regarding the points. So you have to, as far as I remember, there might be a little flaws in everything I claim, but as far as I know, to the best of my knowledge, if you want to qualify for the third prize, you have to have at least 70% of all possible points that can be awarded. To get the second prize, you have to have at least 75. To get the first prize, you have to have 80. And then it used to be you had to have at least 85% to be awarded the Grand Prix. But I just got all the points fresh yesterday because they have been published online. Let me check. And I believe that none of the Grand Prix got more than 85. Yeah, Francesco didn't. So that's the winner of the FISM Grand Prix first prize.
Congratulations.
From Italy. By the way, it was in Italy, Torino. Francesco della Bona from Italy.
What was his act? Did you see it?
I will tell you about it. I'll just finish this this thought. 84.56, and he competed in manipulations. And the other Grand Prix, which was Ibuki, got 82.43. One thing that might be flawed in my claim, it might be 65, 70, 75, and 80, but also these percentages now since 2006 might apply only to the first, second, and third winner, and then with fresh eyes, the jury is not really awarding points. They're just comparing the acts, and they decide who gets the Grand Prix, and if any one of them gets the Grand Prix.
And why is that some places are not awarded? What is the purpose?
Well, the purpose is, for instance, was it in comedy? So there were a few that were not awarded here. So in Mental Magic, the second prize was not awarded. And in Stage Illusions, the first prize was not awarded. And the reason why this is what it is that, as I said, they compete against the FISM standard. There should not be anyone in the world who claims, I am the world's champion in Mental Magic, awarded the first prize, so I'm the best of all the mentalists living today. And he would not have the quality, the standard, to deserve that title. So that's why they do it. And I remember back in 2014, I think, 2014, when we have the Czech Magic Championships, I had the honor to be the chairman of the jury. And we have some competitors who ended up third, but the first and second prize was not awarded, who were very upset about it, saying that, well, I was the best of everyone in my category. Why don't I get the first prize? Well, this is the reason. I don't want you to be around saying that you are the best in your category and everyone seeing your act and thinking, oh, this is good, but so this is the best in the country? Well, in that case, I don't think I really like magic that much. So this could potentially lower the perception of the general public about the quality of magic. And one of the FISM's responsibilities is to nurture, develop, help create the public's opinion about what magic is, that it is indeed an art, that it is beautiful, that it's amazing, incredible. It's a unique art, and we should treat it as such, and we should look at it as such. And so thank you, FISM, for doing this. And it's also a great motivation for all the competitors to create art like this.
And correct me if I'm wrong. I think that this is also like a security mechanism to prevent automatically awarding people prizes if there are only, I don't know, 3 in the category.
100%, of course.
It doesn't mean that you get a prize if you just participate.
Exactly. Yeah. So again, you are not only competing against the others, you are competing against the standards of FISM. And I think that is one of the best things about FISM.
If anybody would like to enter a FISM competition, are the FISM standards somewhere available for them to study, or how can one get ready for competing at the FISM competition if they are not competing just with the other magicians?
Well, the first thing I would recommend anyone who would like to compete at FISM is go to FISM first. See the competitions, see the standard, see what the standard is, and then critically look at yourself, look at your act, and say, yes, I'm ready. I am definitely the standard. Or ask your friends. And another measure that will help, there are across the globe, not every year, but certainly the years before the international FISM, there are FISM qualified contests where you can enter. No matter what, you don't need any recommendations. And then if you end up placing in that contest in one of the top places, you will get so-called wild card. So you can go and compete at FISM. The other option is if you're a member of a club or an association that is a member association of or member organization of FISM, then the president can assign a petition for you and recommend you to compete at FISM. Now, this comes with a responsibility. If they send you, if you go, if you compete, and you get less than 50% of all possible points, you're considered to be under the FISM level, and that puts some penalties on the one that sent you there, right? Some restrictions. If you are not a member of a FISM organization, you can seek recommendations of 2 presidents of 2 FISM organizations that can recommend you as well. So that's another way how to get there. But I think it's easier just to enter one organization that can do it for you. And I believe the best way is really to compete in one of the continental FISMs. So there is FISM North America, FISM South America, FISM, what is it called? The Oceania?
Yeah, Australia and Oceania, maybe.
Yeah, somewhere there. And of course, FISM Europe, FISM Asia. I am not sure if those are happening every time, because sometimes there's no organizer to make it happen. But I think this is the best way. One reason is you'll get, if you place, you'll get a certain possibility to enter the FISM International. And second, some of the people in the jury may happen to be at the International FISM as well, and that will help. If they already saw your act, if they already know it's good, they gave you good points, they liked it, and they're in the FISM International as well, they have expectations, and expectations, I believe, always help. Also, these big conventions, if your act is good, they create buzz, and buzz always helps. one of the things that help at FISM when you're there, so there's nothing really happening between the acts during the competition. You just sit and you wait for the next act to be announced. And when your name appears on the screen and the auditorium explodes with applause, that helps, bring the expectations high. So if you compete in one of these continental FISMs, people will know you. Those people who are at those continental FISMs usually go to the international FISM as well, and they will cheer for you. You are their favorite. They already know your act. They know it's very good. They know it has a shot of winning a prize, and they will cheer for you. And so that helps, because you can be extremely good judge, but if there is a huge crowd support behind you and this can't be just the German group or the Chinese group, right? That brings the expectations high. And if you start with big expectations and ideally you over deliver, fantastic. So the winners, the Grand Prix winners.
Who are the winners of this year's FISM?
That's a good question. In close-up competition, I have chills. From Japan, Ibuki, magician I've never seen, never heard of. And the only act I missed during the competition when I went to the bathroom, as I had to, because it was like 5-hour blocks. And they wouldn't let me back in when I got back, because they don't want to open the doors, not to disturb, even though it's a huge auditorium. So out of respect, they wouldn't let me in, and I missed the Grand Prix. So I was very excited to see it in the gala show. But see, this is it. It created big buzz. People were talking about it. So if you want a brief description of the act, things that you would never expect happened. No cards.
Okay.
No coins.
Okay.
What he had was little handkerchief, 4 buttons, and a close-up mat. And that's it.
And that's all it takes to win a Grand Prix at FISM.
Exactly. That's all it takes. The only thing you have to do is to create visual, lasting magic that nobody in the audience, including the jury, can explain. So Ibuki is very nicely dressed, has 4 buttons on their costume. And first, no, I think, or is it not 4? He does a matrix on his costume. And then they took scissors. They took them out, they cut them off the costume, and they even used a spectator to cut one out. And then they placed them on a handkerchief. They put handkerchief on the close-up mat. Then they put the buttons in 4 corners of the handkerchief. And then it's boom, and they're all 4 in one of the corners. And how it happens is, so Ibuki takes one of the corners, the one that is far away, and Ibuki bends it, folds it over the button that is there. And when he unfolds it, there are 4 buttons next to each other, and they're no longer in the other corners. Then Ibuki puts them in the corners again. As far as I remember, I might have it confused a little bit. And then he prepares for doing a matrix again, but nothing happens. And he says, "See, this is so impossible. So impossible." And you find out that those buttons are sewn to the handkerchief, all 4. Then he cuts them away. He tilts the handkerchief a little bit, folds the corner of the handkerchief again like it was before, does something that I don't remember, and then you find out that the corner that he just folded is sewn onto the handkerchief, can't be undone. And then you find out that the whole handkerchief is sewn onto the close-up mat. And then he takes the close-up mat with this sewn handkerchief to it, and he gives it away to the spectator. Goodbye, good night. This is the Grand Prix.
Wow. That seems impossible.
Yeah. I saw a little bit of some like loads/unloads behind the mat when he was placing his hands. So I saw some of it, but to be honest, none of it explained anything I saw. So phenomenal. Morten Christensen was the winner of Parlor Magic. Was it Parlor Magic this time?
I think so. Yeah.
I think so.
Did something slightly similar to what he did in the previous one, but it was an impossible prediction, multiple impossible prediction of a freely selected card, and it would just go on. And I predicted it like this and like this and like this, and it is here. And I have also these all different cards that are the same here, 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 and here. And I also have it in, how do you say, if something is sewn, is it embroidered?
Yeah, embroidered.
Something like that, yeah. And here, it was fantastic. Really funny, of course, it's Morten, and so great. So these two were clear favorites, at least to me. And then duo was amazing. It was Ruby from Spain and his partner in crime, who unfortunately I'm not sure if I ever was told his name, but duo was so great. You have to see the act. And yeah, stage. So close-up was great. All the acts were strong. Most of them were very strong. The competition was like really big. So if you want to compete in close-up, just as I might one day, it's tough. Stage, also tough, especially if you want to compete in manipulations. Since, when was it? Was it 2006 in Stockholm. The first big success of South Korea, EG, as he's called, Eugen Lee. I think he won the manipulations with his bird act. That was phenomenal. And I think everyone else in South Korea got so inspired and created this manipulator movement that exploded. And in 2012, just 2 FISMs after, in Blackpool, it created a revolution. All 3 priced acts in manipulations were South Koreans, including the first prize Grand Prix Yoo Ho-jin, which still to me is probably the most deserving Grand Prix so far. And that was the Grand Prix, the close-up Grand Prix at that FISM as well, which was Jan Frisch. And now I believe Ibuki, he is, to me as well, he was clear. I'm so bummed I didn't see it during the competition. But yeah, that's just phenomenal. So South Koreans changed the game incredibly. Manipulations now are something completely different than what it was 20 years ago. And you can see it, and you can see it also in other countries, in other cultures. The advancement is incredible, and you can see it in the Grand Prix winning act, which is Francesco della Boda from Italy, where his act, things vanish and appear real fast, like boom, and then because his act is all around time. It starts with him sitting on a stool with a watch in his hands. And then at points, time just slows down when he manipulates balls and manipulates cards. And it just slows down, and sometimes it stops. And sometimes it goes back in time, and yeah, it is really good. Then the other two competitors, because in Comedy and Illusions, the awards were not awarded, so there were just 3 competitors for the Grand Prix, was in General Magic and Mentalism. In Mentalism, it was Mind to Mind. I think they're British, but I believe they live in Dubai. It is a second sight act. It's a couple. I think it's James and Marina. And yeah, I've never seen a better second side act. Well deserving of Grand Prix if they would get one. Leah Kyle, winner of the General Magic, who is not doing just quick change. Firstly, she's doing quick change that is as revolutionary as whatever Yu Ho-jin did or Egan Lee. And yeah, she just changed the genre and now included quite a few non-quick change magic effects in their act. And there, what happens with quick change, what happened with quick change with Leah Kyle is just so great. It just happens, and it either just happens or you see it happening, and it is beautiful. And it's very artistic, and it's flawless. There is just mind to mind, Leah or Francesco, there are just no mistakes. And I have to be honest here. I expected bigger chances for Mind to Mind or Leah Kyle to get Grand Prix than Francesco. And then I was a little surprised when I saw the final points that there was a big margin between Francesco and the others, like in points. In Stage Magic, in General Magic, all 3 first prize winners had exactly 1 point between them. I think Leah had like 81, and then Francesco had like 84 something. Let me check here. I have the list here. So we see that Mind to Mind had 80.0. Leah had 81.67, and Francesco had 84.56. So that's a big margin. That's almost 3 points, which is big at FISM. Yeah, and it surprised me. It kind of surprised me. But he won. I trust the jury completely. Some people said, well, he's Italian. It was in Italy. It's Italy for Italy. I don't believe that. I trust the jury. I think they're all very competent. And this is what it is. And there's another FISM in 3 years in Busan. It was between Quebec and Busan. That's also, it might be interesting for everyone, how FISM decides where the next FISM will be. So firstly, you have to want to organize a FISM. So there are always teams that submit bids to FISM and hello, so we want to organize FISM. We have this and this. They create a bid book where everything is, where you can see the convention center, the venue, and also all the other things, how they want to organize FISM. Then they submit. FISM chooses, it's usually 2 places where it could be held. And then it's on the usually second day of FISM, there's a general assembly, which is all presidents or delegates of the member organizations. Both of the potential organizers have 20 minutes to campaign, to tell you and show you what they want to make, what they want to create, and why, what their values are. And then all the presidents vote. Every president has a certain number of votes based on the size of their organization, of the membership. So how many members they represent. So they vote between the 2. It's voting on like a paper, like you would vote in elections. And then they count it, and then there's the winner. The difference was about 70. I think the complete number is 410 or so. And I believe that Busan got like 230 and Quebec got like 180, something like that. And I went there to vote for Busan because it appears that for our members, at least, I don't know who from the Czech Magic Association is going to go to FISM.
Yeah.
It will probably be me. I don't know who else. But it is much cheaper for us to go and spend a week in Busan than go and spend a week in Canada, in Quebec.
And Quebec was 3 years ago, right? It was the last one before Italy.
No.
No?
Oh, sorry. You said Quebec.
Yeah.
Yes, correct. Sorry. And what's funny is that the previous one was Busan. So
Okay.
now the pattern repeats. It's Italy, Busan, Quebec, Italy, Busan, and we'll see what happens after.
Why do you think is that? It seems like nobody wants to put together.
Exactly, because it's a terrible task. It's humongous, and usually you don't get too much praise for it. No, it's difficult. So those who already organized FISM, they have the experience, they know what it takes, and they'll get credit for it. So it's easier for them to campaign, it's easier for them to win because the delegates already know that they are capable of doing it. So that's one of the main reasons. So as I said, I went there to vote for Busan, and then I saw the 20-minute presentations from Quebec and Busan, and the one from Quebec was much more convincing. It's much more prepared, and Busan, they had some mistakes in the presentations, some how do you call it when you write on a keyboard?
Like typos? Yeah.
Thank you. And quite a few of those images were AI generated, unfortunately, quite obviously. And I decided, even though you still could see that the registration fees were cheaper and everything, and I knew everything, this and there, I changed my mind and I voted for Quebec. Busan still won because I think the others were more set on the decision, or the decision was made by the board of their organization or by the membership. I don't know. So they represented it, and they couldn't be turned by the presentations on the spot.
Maybe it was because they didn't want Quebec again after 6 years.
Maybe. But one of the presentation points of Quebec was we had COVID. We were ready to organize in 2021. And when we said, unfortunately, it has to be postponed because of COVID, they had almost 1,000 cancellations. And, it was really tough on them. So they were going for a second chance, even though their event was still extraordinary. So they wanted a second chance. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Still Busan won. So there's no point talking about it. I just wanted you to know what the process is, how it goes, and why we're going to Busan this time. And I'm pretty excited. I think it's going to be great. And who knows, maybe I'll be competing as well.
In Stage Magic, right?
Obviously. To be honest, I thought about it, and the act I have in mind is both and neither. So I don't know what they're going to do with me. If I appear in the close-up competition, they were like, he can't do this in like a close-up setting. And then if they would put me on stage, they would be, but this is close-up magic. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I also don't know if it's going to happen because I've been talking about it for quite a while. And I had it in mind since 2011. And yeah, we'll see what happens.
I jokingly ask about you participating in the Stage Magic competition because you mentioned that there were almost double the competitors in the Stage Magic category than there were at the Close-Up Magic. But as we see it, at least, Close-Up Magic is much more popular than Stage Magic. Why do you think there are more competitors in the Stage Magic category than in Close-Up?
Well, one thing might be the history. because there used to be much more stage competitors, but also there are more subcategories in
Okay.
stage magic, right? So in close-up, we have 2.5 because parlor can be both on stage and in close-up,
Okay.
I think. And, or at least it used to be like that. On stage, there are 5 subcategories, 5.5 then. So I think that's a reason. Also, look at how many awards you can get in stage magic and how many awards you can get in close-up magic. So I think it's pretty much 50-50 in a way when you think about it this way. Yeah.
You mentioned there were 2 new categories, the street magic and like the online category. I think they've done that to attract more young magicians into the competition. How do you think this panned out, these new additions?
Yeah, I think it worked really well. Firstly, to give them the credit, to include them, to say, "Hey, look, they're street magicians, and they are really good. They should not be excluded from these world championships in magic, and this is good that it's happening." So I'm very happy this is happening. The first prize in street magic was Eric Evans from the United States of America. I did not go to any of those competitions, street magic, because it happened one before we arrived, and then there were finals which were in conflict with something else I wanted to do. And online magic was a big thing during COVID, of course. And I think they should have clarified a little more maybe what the rules are,
Why is that?
because the finalist entries were very different.
Okay.
Some were edited heavily. Then it was kind of strange, but they were just so different, right? It's like if a stage illusionist competes against a close-up magician. Yeah. So they were extremely, extremely different, but also at least the first prize was much easier to award because Simon Piero, who won the first prize, is so ahead of everyone else, and the production value of what he sent. And some people would say, hey, he probably just took something he already had and submitted it. No, he made it for FISM. And I have chills again. It's just phenomenal. The rest of it is like, oh, that's good. And now you see Simon and like, oh my God, what is happening? My mind is blown. This is this, what? And it just goes on and on and on. And yeah, it's just so good. So good. I remember how I was telling you that maybe I should also send something.
Yeah.
And then when I saw the finalists, I was like, damn, I should have. I should have. And then Simon told me that he's glad I didn't. Yeah, that was clear. And I'm happy he won because he deserved it more than anyone else. And it was really clear that he's going to win. So those are the 2 new demonstration categories. And then there were some other awards awarded, Max Maven awards. Those are not competition awards. Those are awards that are given to people who did something exceptional in the field of magic. So, for instance, most of you will know the Conjuring Archive by Dennis Baer, who got an award for the Conjuring Archive.
If you don't know what Conjuring Archive is, it's a free-to-access online database of thousands of magic books where you can search for references. So, for example, if you're looking to learn a new Triumph effect, you can just type in Triumph and you'll see the hundreds of times Triumph appeared in dozens and dozens of books.
Then there are 2 more awards, Max Maven awards. One is for creativity and artistic vision, this time awarded to Paul Harris, who you might know for a lot of his creations, but he wrote the 3 incredible books, Art of Astonishment, and it seems like he is writing, or he already wrote 3 more books.
Ooh, exciting.
Probably a 3-volume set. So we can be looking forward to that. And then for theory and philosophy, awarded to Robert Neal. So these 3 are the Max Maven non-competition awards. Jason Latimer got a Legacy Award for his Impossible Science project, which is an educational project that he's doing all around America. It started like as a little thing, and now it's grown into an incredible size. And yeah, he just got awarded, I think, create this program for all schools in LA County, I think, which is a lot of schools. And yeah, he's incredibly successful with this all over the United States, and he's growing outside of the US as well. And I think this is a great thing. It's basically popularizing science through magic, illusions, and play. And then there were some other awards that were voted for by the peoples. That was the Best Magic Podcaster, which was won by the Magic Guys. Best Magician Communication Platform, the Magic Cafe. Then we had the Breakout Creator of the Year, Jeremy Tan.
Our dear friend Jeremy Tan from Singapore. Congratulations, yes. Jeremy.
And Best Magic Newsletter, The Daily Magician. Did I miss anything? Probably. No, of course. Of course not. Of course I didn't.
Have any magicians that have not placed on like the podium stuck in your mind?
Oof. Oh yeah, you know what? I did forget awards.
Yeah?
There were quite a few for invention. There were also awards, my favorite. I don't know how I could forget, because that's the award I would go for if I would compete. The most original act. So there is the most original act in close-up and stage. So there are 2.
Okay.
And for invention, I believe that you have to sign up for the invention award. You have to say, I'm going to compete in invention. And this time it was the most invention awards in history awarded. So somebody mentioned to me, maybe they should raise their standards a little bit. So let me see if I can find it. Oh, invention. Lucas Kaminsky got an award for invention. It was a surprise award because it was at the very end of the award ceremony because they forgot about him.
Oh no.
So he got an award for an act where he basically, it's a bubble act. And it's a bubble levitation act. And that's it. It's just so great.
Okay.
It's just so great. So then the other invention awards, Ellen Garant, then Alberto Giorgi and Laura. Then we have Sergei Dolidze. I don't know how to pronounce the last name. Tiayo Yang, Nojima, and Billy Shui. I'm sorry. But he's from Canada. He definitely stuck in my mind. Didn't he place? No, he didn't. And he did Think a Drink. The Think a Drink routine when you have a little teapot and somebody chooses a drink and that's what you pour out of the teapot. And the way he did it was so great. I have no idea how it works. And it's just amazing. And if you want to know who won the most original acts, you're just asking too much. You're asking too much. And I don't even know if I know. Oh yeah, I would know because they're mentioned here. Lucas Kaminsky got the most original act for stage and invention because all he did was floating bubbles. Interesting. We have 2 people who exceeded the time limit, which is 10 minutes. You can get disqualified for this.
Okay.
If you go a few seconds over, you're done. Then the most original close-up act was Michael Blumenke from the United States, who had these like robotic arms and did everything with them. And it was so funny and so creative. So that was it. And we have 3 people who exceeded the time. And then we got 4 competitors who ended up below FISM level. And I think that's it. That's the FISM recap. I did not talk about any of the lectures or any of the shows. The only one I attended was the show of Topaz, which was so great. Silent magic. Everyone had headphones on and they were able to change channels based on what kind of storyline they just wanted to hear to what Topaz was doing on stage. It was so great and so creative and so inspiring. And then I saw a few lectures. I couldn't miss Jan Frisch, whose lapping work is very innovative and very thorough, and his attention to detail and his perception, his knowledge of the audience's perception is so detailed. It's just fantastic. And then I saw R. Paul Wilson and Luc Germain on the first day doing their lecture, and that's probably all I saw from the non-competition part of FISM, which is what I come for because you can't see it anywhere else.
Yeah.
And yeah, any more questions?
How would you rate the convention in general?
Good question. Okay. So I wanted to avoid this. No. No, it was really, really good. It was really, really good. There were people who had problems with the stage competition venue, which kind of makes sense. It was a tent.
Okay.
It wasn't a theater, but it was a giant tent. One of those that you might know from the Oktoberfest in Germany.
Okay. Seems odd.
I didn't really mind, but if it was in a theater, I would be a little bit happier. Yes. But I'm not a person who would complain about things that they can do nothing about. I just make a note, and when I organize FISM, I would probably do it in a different way. But that's what I'm saying now when I'm not facing issues that Walter Rolfo was facing. And there were some really good gala shows. The first gala show was the best. It was the Grand Prix gala show where we had 7 FISM Grand Prix winners. You just can't get better than that. No. Every act got standing ovation, and it was fantastic. Wow. Okay. And then there was another show that was called the Grand Gala show. I think that was the last, if we don't talk about the Grand Prix. The Grand Gala show, it started at midnight, went till 2 a.m. in the morning.
Okay.
And it had a subline called Crazy and Comedy Show. And people who went to sleep instead didn't miss anything. I think it was the worst show of the event, and it wasn't very good. It was announced that it will feature also Mario Lopez and Hector Mancha, but they both had something in the morning, so they didn't appear. And I'm happy they didn't, because they would be in a very difficult place, because, it wasn't very good. That happens. That happens every time, everywhere. But it did not belong to FISM. But overall, it was really good. It was the first FISM ever where everything started on time or before or earlier, which I think should not happen. I think it's better to be 1 minute late than 1 minute early. But Walter Rolfo learned from FISM 2015 when he organized FISM in Rimini, where a lot of things were very late, but this time he was punctual, which is very surprising for an Italian. And so that was good. And the organization overall was much better than what I experienced in Rimini. So he learned, he reflected. And I think that overall, generally, everyone was very happy with how it all turned out.
That's good to hear.
let's see you in Busan, hopefully.
Let's see you competing in Busan.
Yes, let's see you all that are FISM level compete in Busan.
Thank you for the recap.
Thank you for asking me relevant questions. And I think that if the platform that you are listening to us allows asking more questions, definitely on YouTube, please do.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to answer every one of them.
And if you've been to FISM, share your thoughts.
Please do. If you disagree with something I said, or if you want to correct something I said which is not true, please do. I know that I said a few things that were not probably accurate, so please correct me. And everyone listening to us, if you have the opportunity to read the comments so you have the accurate information, please do as well. And like and subscribe. I will learn how to talk next time, I promise, for the 4th episode of our podcast, which name is
Butterfly Magic Lounge. And this has been the 3rd episode of Butterfly Talk.
We'll hear each other and talk to each other.
Yeah.
On the 4th episode about everything that happened since. I'm very excited. Thank you for listening.
Bye.